Hello, everyone. So we're back again, and we want to talk about the demo itself, and then also about this last peak performance demo, which should be starting pretty soon here.
The spike.
And we're at 246.6 million transactions since we started.
246 million since 9 a.m. yesterday.
And averaging somewhere between 27 and 2,900 when I was doing the calculations through the night.
Our goal was to maintain 2,000 transactions a second for 24 hours, and we've exceeded that. So pretty consistently. It would be interesting to grab the metrics over the entire, just the average over the entire span. We have hourly averages here, right. But I'm pretty confident we've never dropped below 2K for this whole time. That's pretty impressive.
I was doing it through the night for the totals, and it was always, in fact, it was higher earlier tonight. All
right.
We're at 12,000
so
right now.
Right now, we're ramping up the load on DragonNet. So this is more worker nodes slamming Dragon chains with data, and this data is, fake usernames and addresses and like customer data that you could have in any sort of customer application. This isn't just like hello world or the number one or something. We're actually sending payloads that an actual application might send. So this is pretty representative of what DragonNet's capable of. So that last spike was 12,000, which was a lot. 12,000 transactions in a second. So.
And how many nodes? They added nodes for this peak test.
Yeah, we have 30 on standby, so we'll be utilizing them as necessary, and it'll just start picking things up. It's this multi-threaded process that just starts slamming, and its goal is to scale up, as high as we can get it. We're at 15? Yeah, 15,142 transactions a second right there. I'm nervous. I mean, I'm sure it's fun. This is fun. Everyone does this to their apps.
It's like some SpaceX stuff right now.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's already sort of dwarfing the 4K, 5K spikes we've had there. So every 60 seconds we should see this update. Man.
And we weren't sure how long it would take to get into the system, so.
We've just slammed these broadcast processors full of information. So this is impressive. Here goes in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Woo. So the way that this works is the web servers on chain are accepting transactions as fast as they can, and they're loading them up in their message queues, and then they're grabbing as many messages as they can, 10,000 messages at a time, I think, and putting them in a block, and then hashing and signing those, and then putting that into a broadcast queue. Then it is being sent up to the network to get broadcast out to the other nodes for verification. So there's that big process of, all these complex things are sort of happening in one go. And there's a lot of information flowing through DragonNet right now. So this is probably going to be the most. This is definitely the most we've pushed through the system. So this is a lot. So if you have level 2s, 3s, 4s right now in DragonNet, you're probably noticing a lot. Okay, it updated. Yeah, it's coming down probably because it grabbed the first ginormous chunk after we were waiting to push the button, and it was intaking, and we pushed it. So now it's gonna sort of level off as it goes. So we'll see how much it can take. That's impressive. 14K. Whew. 15. It was 15K for a spike.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this just represents burst traffic you could have in a network. So,
right.
Black Friday sales or something going on, you could just, DragonNet can handle that. And it's pretty impressive.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Right? And we found we found some things that could be optimized that haven't been optimized. I I heard the guys talking.
Sure.
About
Mhm.
what was keeping keeping some of the numbers down. with the
250
staging.
million.
Oh, 250 million. All right.
250
yeah, not
million.
around. Okay.
Woohoo!
250 million transactions since 9 a.m.
Called it.
Man,
Call it.
yeah, dude.
Basket. Group.
Wow. Yikes. So that's impressive. I don't know what to say. I'm impressed with the tech.
Oh yeah. This is crazy. So, and how many nodes? There were more level 2 nodes added in the past few days. I
Oh yeah,
believe.
it seems like people have caught on that we're sending transactions through DragonNet, so there are other nodes spinning up all over the place. We've got more level 2s in the network than before we started. People are wondering how to spin up their own Dragonchains. We have a script online that you can download, and pretty much a one-button install to run your own level 2 Dragonchain and start receiving some of these level 1 transactions to verify. People are running them in little $10 linodes. You can run them for like $10 a month or something. Pretty lightweight. I've actually even seen some people running these on ARM processors like Raspberry Pis. So if you have the technical expertise to throw one of those together, that's a great option. But yeah, this is impressive. So I bet it's probably gonna level off there around the 10, 12 level, and then I don't know, maybe we can, if we add more nodes, we could slam it or pause the broadcast processors and let them intake. The thing is, the web server is taking in as much as it can, but if you pause the broadcast processing and just let the queue fill up on these chains, they'll be able to burst. So in scenarios where you have some Dragon chain has maybe like 30 web servers, they've scaled up to a ridiculous size so they can take all this stuff, and you're actually pumping in the network. Like DragonNet handles it no problem. So like the level 2s sort of scale out. As we see like humans get involved, they see what's happening, and then the network itself sort of reacts to it, and you get this this growth in the network that can handle the load. So it's this natural load balancing, which is pretty interesting.
We need to hear from them if they're trying to push it more. Do you know? Okay, I'll find out.
Okay. Sweet. What would be cool? Do we have any AMAs going on?
We don't have any. I think we were exhausted of the questions. I think almost
Oh,
all of it. I think.
okay.
I think there are probably some new ones.
All the questions have been asked.
Oh, okay. Here's something we can go over. As of 8:30 this morning, 92,154 total level 1 blocks, and
Oh yeah.
of course now it's 250 million transactions. Let's see here for interchain. Total 199 interchain transactions over that 24-hour period.
We've hit 200 for sure now.
Yeah.
Interchain. That's
Yeah.
ETH Classic, Bitcoin, Binance, and Ethereum. Like all of those networks have received level 5 transactions during this time. About 200 of them in total. So that means though that for the low cost of submitting transactions on DragonNet, you actually get all of the hash power of those other networks. We've gone to 200 of them already, and we can do it less frequently, save a lot of money. So you don't have to spend all that money going to Ethereum or going to Bitcoin and paying all those fees, because DragonNet has nodes that pay them for you, and you just have to pay the fees within DragonNet. Much smaller, especially if you have a lot of time. So if you have if you hold Dragon and you keep it in your account for long enough, you can apply that time to your Dragon chain and lower your transaction fees. So these fees are incredibly low for the comparatively. There's no reason to go straight to Bitcoin if you can do that through DragonNet.
Right. Yeah, because they're aggregated. Do you know? I wonder how many blocks are in each of those Bitcoin. Because the Bitcoin ones would tend to get a lot.
Huge, yeah, because we go to Bitcoin less frequently because of its transaction fees. So every 2 hours, we call it the train leaves the station at every 2 hours or so. So during that time, we aggregate blocks in DragonNet who have gone through the levels 1 through 4, and they get sort of queued up in that level 5, ready to go to Bitcoin. So how many have gone in that last block? That would be an interesting number, but I bet they're fairly large. And we take their, the hash of those. We actually publish that as a data field. But we can figure that out. I mean, let's see. We have 30. We had 10 nodes running, 10,000 transactions per 5-second block, and then I guess all of those go all the way up through the level 4s. So,
Right.
And then actually for Bitcoin specifically, for the 2-hour duration, you have a 1 in 4 chance of getting on a Bitcoin node, so you have to factor that into your math. But we could run the numbers and figure out what, how many transactions on average went to Bitcoin versus Ethereum versus ETH Classic based on probabilities of selection in DragonNet. But I mean, the real moral of the story is that you don't have to go directly to these networks and pay those fees. You can use DragonNet and get all of the data security of the public networks just using Dragonchain.
Right, and that's important. And we should also say that these are completely, these are not transactions like in Visa that would still take days to reconcile. These are completed, done, signed transactions. So, or blocks. So it's interesting.
Oh yeah, they're hashed, signed, and sent all the way through the network. Well, we thought for a while on how we're trying to figure out which number to track. We could track the intake of every Dragonchain level 1 in the network, and that would be one number that might be interesting. Or we could track the number of transactions that actually go through DragonNet. We opted for that one. That number is not how many transactions we've accepted. That number is actually higher, faster. We can bring more things in because we have to hash and sign those blocks and send them to the broadcast processor and go through DragonNet. But to be able to pull these type of numbers through the network is pretty impressive because it's such a short period of time, and we had 10 nodes for that time.
And I asked them why yesterday staging was different, right? And we have unmanaged nodes in production. Staging, everything was in
we have
local. So
we have a staging DragonNet for testing stuff and new experimental features and stuff. And there's far fewer nodes there. There's less latency. There's not public nodes. So yeah, there's definitely more latency in production. So this is all expected. It's performing really well.
Yep. All right. So, and it is almost 9. I think if we run to 9:30, we're probably solid, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know when we started. We started sometime between 9:20 and 9:30.
I'm sure we keep this going, and
Let's do it again right now.
Oh man.
48 hours.
96?
Oh man, I want to go to sleep.
You want to go to sleep?
No, Brandon wants to go to sleep. We should let Brandon go to sleep. Another 24 hours to get that coffee. Let's do it. All right. Well, what would be interesting? We'll try to see what if we could slam these any harder before we close this thing down. But being able to maintain that 5 to 12K, that's pretty impressive, even for this duration for a blockchain network. I've never seen any demonstration by a blockchain that shows that.
Right. Even the average is coming up.
Yep.
That's awesome. 255 million.
So
Crazy.
if you're interested in running your own Dragonchain node, if you want to get in on the network, you can go to our open source GitHub project, Dragonchain. It's on github.com/Dragonchain. You'll see links to the documentation to set up your own line node if you want to run your own. Or if you're interested in running in our managed service, you can go to console.dragonchain.com and sign up for a node there. I would encourage anyone to join up in the Slack channels or in Telegram. If you're interested in joining up with us here at Dragonchain by running your own node, we're more than welcome to help. So just hit us up and we'll get you running.
Yep. Very good. 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes. Oh my god. I could tap dance as long as you need me to. What are we doing?
1 minute.
1 minute.
Alright, dude.
So if we just, we sign off with, yeah, because I think our original estimate, if we'd run at 2,000, was going to be 173 million for the 24 hours.
Yep.
So we're way past that.
We are way past that. Yeah. We were able to maintain 3 to 4K instead of 2K. Scaling up and down around that average mark, sort of, put us on average over it. But that's how we tuned the system to to favor more versus less. So we wanted to keep a buffer, and man, really
That's pretty
successful.
solid. We ran just all night.
The fact that we could go to sleep, or at least some of us could go to bed, was pretty impressive. I didn't get much sleep last night because I had this running on my nightstand. I had my phone with Danny's face doing the demos all night, and so I had that running. But I would every once in a while I would lean over and I would see the graph is doing great. So the network's responding really well. We were all kind of nervous. We didn't know what to expect. We'd seen this in staging work, but you never know when you go to production with a performance demonstration how things are going to go. So this worked out really well. The whole dev team has spent a lot of time building out this system. So kudos to all those guys.
It's amazing.
Yeah, Adam, Alex, Reagan, Noah, Robbie, Gould, David Rigby. These guys have put in work. I mean, seriously, this wouldn't exist without those guys. So,
Yep.
Eric, Lance, Farmer,
Todd,
Todd, all of them.
Farmer Todd.
Farmer, not Farmer Todd. They're different people. Grammar, there's a comma there. But these guys are great, and that's what produced something like that.
Yes. The disappointments, Sasquatch didn't show up, and
Yeah.
Chad didn't show up. So, but other than that,
Yeah, he's remote, right? He's
Yeah.
remote. Yeah, that Sasquatch would have been great. We thought there might be a sighting at 3 a.m. or something. Sasquatch might just walk by the camera. So.
all right. I think we're past the time. We ran over 24 hours.
Is this enough time? Dude, yeah, it's
I think
9:30. Oh man.
I'm ready.
Let's shut it down.
Yep.
Let's shut it down.
Good. Signing off. We'll meet again sometime. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks a bunch.